Imagine a neighborhood where, like, the grass is perfectly manicured, the cars are neatly parked in the driveways, and the homes look exactly like every other house on the block.
Right. Totally normal.
Exactly. It looks perfectly normal. You'd wave to your neighbors, you'd trust the environment. But unseen, just beneath the surface, the earth is rotting away.
Mm-hmm.
The foundation is hollowing out in the dark, entirely unnoticed, until suddenly the ground collapses and you realize the rot was there the entire time, just inches below your feet. Welcome to Off the Record.
Yes, welcome.
I am so incredibly glad to have you with us today as we undertake a deeply necessary, undeniably harrowing deep dive into our source material. But before we delve into the mechanics of this darkness, I really have to acknowledge our director, Ryan Thomas.
We definitely have to acknowledge Ryan for this one.
Yeah, because Ryan curates our material, and he knew exactly how demanding today's subject would be. So sitting between us right now is a truly massive, steaming, remarkably comforting shepherd's pie.
It looks incredible, honestly.
It really does. And right alongside it, a quite formidable, very old bottle of single malt scotch. It is, frankly, the only way we are going to be able to stomach the architectural and psychological collapse we are about to unpack.
It is deeply appreciated because the material Ryan has prepared for us is, from a clinical standpoint, profoundly disturbing. We are looking at a comprehensive breakdown of the victims of Fred and Rosemary West.
Right. And based on the BBC's detailed breakdown, it is just stark.
Stark is the word. We are analyzing a man who has been described in the literature as the absolute epitome of evil. But, evil is a lazy word.
Yeah, it's a catch-all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What we are actually looking at is a 20-year campaign, 2 full decades of systemic, highly organized rape, torture, and murder. This dark enterprise culminated in the infamous House of Horror at 25 Cromwell Street in Gloucester.
A domestic space they weaponized into an abattoir.
Precisely. They were jointly charged with 10 murders, with Fred charged with a further 2.
And what's terrifying is that this isn't just, closed book history. The legacy of this horror is still an active, bleeding wound.
It really is.
The sources mention police recently excavating a cafe in Gloucester, desperately searching for Mary Bassholm, another suspected victim. It's an ongoing trauma, and that brings me back to that sinkhole analogy.
Mm-hmm.
The Wests weren't monsters hiding in the shadows of a forest. They were actively hollowing out the foundation of their own community from within their own living room.
That is a highly astute framework. The hollowing out is literal when we look at the topography of their crimes. To understand how they constructed this ecosystem of abuse, we have to transition chronologically to the earliest established victims.
We have to start at the beginning.
We do. We must examine the methodology before the horrors of Cromwell Street even began. We start with Anne McFall in 1967.
Right. Fred West's first known victim. And she was only 18 years old.
18. Born in Scotland, she had worked in a knitwear factory in Glasgow before moving to the Gloucester area in 1966.
She was a teenager, really.
Yes. She became a nanny to Fred's children from his first marriage. Now, Fred's biographer, Geoffrey Wansell, notes that she flirted restlessly with West, according to him.
According to him, exactly.
Right. She lived in a caravan with him, became his lover, and was pregnant with his child when she was murdered and buried in a field at Kempley. What is absolutely critical to analyze here is the mechanism of the power dynamic.
Oh, completely.
She is described as naive. He is an older, married employer.
It's the absolute textbook architecture of grooming. I mean, you isolate the victim spatially.
Yes, in a caravan.
Right, in a caravan.
Right.
Removed from broader social support.
Yeah.
You make them entirely dependent on you for housing, for employment, and eventually emotionally.
A total monopoly on her survival.
It's a complete and total imbalance of power that creates an inescapable psychological prison before the physical violence even begins.
Precisely. You have identified the exact mechanism of coercive control. And we must contrast Anne McFall's manufactured vulnerability with his second victim, Catherine Rena Costello, in 1971. Yes, this was Fred's first wife, whom he married in 1962. She was actually pregnant with another man's child, Charmaine, when they married, and they later had Anne-Marie together.
Now, here is where I really have to push back on the standard narrative of the passive victim, because the sources describe Catherine in a very specific, almost contradictory way.
How so?
Well, the biographer explicitly states she had a strong personality and was more than a match for Fred. She is literally described as a tough and manipulative woman.
Interesting framing.
Yeah. She even left him in 1969 amid reports of extreme violence and sexual abuse.
She successfully escaped the immediate physical radius of his abuse, yeah.
Exactly. But then, by 1971, family and friends lose all contact with her. And where is she ultimately found?
In Kempley.
Buried in that exact same rural field in Kempley, right close to where the naive 18-year-old Anne McFall was buried. So my question for you is...
I see where you're going.
Right. How does someone who's described as more than a match for him end up sharing the exact same grim fate as the naive 18-year-old? What does this actually tell us about the terrifying escalation of Fred's violence?
Tells us everything.
Because to me, it says that if he couldn't control a strong-willed, tough partner through his standard psychological manipulation, he simply resorted to ultimate lethal control.
That is exactly the mechanism at play. It speaks to the absolute inflexibility of his need for dominance. When coercive control fails against a formidable personality like Catherine's, the predator doesn't retreat.
No, they double down.
They experience a narcissistic injury and escalate to physical annihilation. The toughness of the victim, rather than protecting them, becomes a very catalyst for the killer's lethal rage.
Wow.
He was establishing his methodology. The rural gravesite at Kempley was his initial canvas for total ownership.
That is, God, that is just so heavy. Honestly, I think it's time to lean on Ryan's provisions. I am pouring myself a rather substantial second glass of this scotch right now.
I won't stop you.
The psychological weight of this is immense.
Please do. It is undeniably required to process the structural depravity we are about to enter.
The amber hue on this is actually quite beautiful. A stark contrast to the subject matter. Wait, where did I put my notes?
Under your plate.
Thank you.
Haha.
Right, the Kempley field.
Yeah.
The escalation is just completely chilling when you realize how he disposed of them both in the same rural space.
Yeah.
It's like he was building a subterranean trophy room.
He was. But to fully understand the trajectory of his pathology, we have to look at how...
Oh, hang on. Sorry to interrupt. But Ryan is aggressively waving from the booth.
What is he doing?
What is it, Ryan?
Oh!
Yeah.
Right, he's tapping the sign, the vocal warm-up.
Ah, yes. The mandatory vocal warm-up. Professionalism dictates we oblige the director, no matter how abruptly it breaks our analytical flow.
We must obey the booth.
Together.
Together.
Right.
3, 2, 1.
Liam Neeson's niece, Lisa Neeson, recently leased a really nice Nissan.
Liam Neeson's niece, Lisa Neeson, recently leased a really nice Nissan. Okay. Blood flowing, enunciation secured.
Back into the abyss.
Right, because if the Kempley Field was his solo canvas, the Midland Roadhouse was where the partnership of evil truly calcified. Let's examine victim 3, Charmaine West in 1971.
Right.
This is the crucial pivot where the narrative shifts from Fred's solo atrocities to a horrific joint enterprise. Charmaine was Catherine Costello's daughter. She was 8 years old.
8, my God.
Just 8. And the sources are explicit about the domestic dynamic. She hated Rosemary West with a passion, and she was considered a rebellious little girl.
Rebellious 8-year-old.
Now, what makes this uniquely horrifying, structurally speaking, is that Rosemary murdered her stepdaughter entirely solo while Fred was incarcerated.
Wait, he was in prison?
He was in prison for the petty theft of car tires and a vehicle tax disc.
Tires and a tax disc. He's locked away for a minor administrative theft, and she is at home committing the murder of an 8-year-old child.
Exactly. And the critical psychological insight here is the mechanism of complicity that occurs upon Fred's release.
Because he finds out.
He comes home, he discovers what his new partner has done. He doesn't report it. He doesn't experience standard moral panic. Instead, he takes the body of an 8-year-old child and buries her beneath the kitchen window at their home in Midland Road.
Beneath the kitchen window.
This act of joint burial, the shared spatial desecration, is a psychological binding. It cemented their twisted partnership forever. It proved to Rosemary that he would accept her most depraved, unforgivable acts, and vice versa.
You know, the scotch is really starting to hit the back of my throat, and I have to say, looking at the sociological framing of this, it's just making me so intensely, deeply sad.
It is grim.
She was 8, an 8-year-old girl who hated her stepmother, probably because her primitive survival instincts could sense the pure, unadulterated evil radiating off that woman.
Undoubtedly.
She was just a little girl. She should have been playing with toys. She should have been going to school, not dealing with that terrifying household. It just breaks my heart. It really does.
It is repulsive. It is utterly, fundamentally repulsive. You sit here, you analyze the pathology, you try to maintain an academic, objective distance, but at the end of the day, when you strip away the clinical terminology, these two were just a complete, irredeemable sack of shitheads.
Whoa.
No, I mean it. A complete sack of shitheads. You look at the systemic failures of social services, you look at the psychological profiles of coercive control, but sometimes the academic vocabulary completely fails the reality of the horror.
That's true.
They murdered an 8-year-old child and buried her under the exact window where they stood to wash their dishes. It defies categorization. It's just pure malice.
You are absolutely right. A sack of shitheads is honestly the only peer-reviewed term that applies to them.
Thank you.
My heart just aches for little Charmaine, just a rebellious little kid trying to survive. She deserves so much better than the absolute nightmare she was born into.
She did. The betrayal of the parental role is absolute. It is a fundamental collapse of the social contract.
Ugh. Oh, wait. Before we move to the lodgers, my brain just caught up. We have to do the thing.
The thing.
The promo. Ryan will literally cut our mics and withhold the pie. Listen to me, all of you out there listening. You need to stop whatever you're doing right now.
Oh, right.
Plug your phones, open YouTube, and search for the @ HAM-OTR. @HAM-OTR. That is the official canonical channel for Off the Record. You need to go there right now, and you need to like and subscribe. Just aggressively smash that subscribe button for us.
Yes, please ensure you subscribe to @HAMOTR. It appeases the digital algorithm, and more importantly, it appeases Ryan.
And we must appease Ryan. Okay, let me just pour a little more. Let's move to 1973. The transition to 25 Cromwell Street, the lodgers and the hitchhikers.
Yes, 25 Cromwell Street. The infrastructure of their crimes rapidly expands. They turn their home into a web. Let's look at victim 4, Linda Go, 19 years old. She was a seamstress who lived in Gloucester and became friendly with the lodgers at the West home. She was described as naive, much like Anne McFall. She vanished in April 1973, and her remains were found in a former car inspection pit in a garage that had been converted into a bathroom.
A car inspection pit under a bathroom. The architectural violation of the home is just staggering. They literally built their lives on top of their victims.
And then we have victim 5, Carol Ann Cooper, known as Kaz. She was 15 or 16, staying at the Pine Children's Home. She was given permission to spend the weekend with her grandmother, went on a night out, and disappeared after boarding a bus back to the home.
Just trying to get back.
Detectives concluded they picked her up while she was hitchhiking. Her body was found in the cellar.
Hitchhiking, God, it was just so incredibly common back then. It's hard to even conceptualize now.
But this is what is genuinely fascinating about the era. We have to look at the mechanism of vulnerability.
Okay, lay it on me.
The sociological prevalence of hitchhiking in the 1970s represents a fundamentally different social contract. You see, the post-war economic boom created a massive surplus of vehicular travel, but public transport infrastructure severely lagged, especially for youth demographics in rural or semi-rural areas.
Right, buses were terrible.
So hitchhiking wasn't just a fringe, risky activity. It was a primary, heavily utilized mode of transit built on a presumption of communal trust. It was an unspoken civic agreement. I have space in my vehicle, you require transit. We are part of the same society.
It was built on implicit trust.
Exactly. But it goes deeper into the macroeconomics. The 1973 oil crisis exacerbated this dynamic significantly. People were actively encouraged by the government to carpool. There was an almost patriotic duty to share rides.
Wow, brilliant.
So you have a whole generation of young people like Carolyn Cooper and like Clarice Siegenthaler, who we'll discuss, who view stepping into a stranger's automobile not as a perilous, life-threatening risk, but as a normalized, almost communitarian act.
That is so wild to think about.
It's a fascinating sociological blind spot of the late 20th century. The sheer volume of trust placed in the sheer metal of a passing Ford Cortina is staggering. We look back with our modern true crime cynicism, but at the time, the sociological parameters were entirely inverted.
No, I totally agree. It's all about the transit parameters. It's just interesting you bring up the transit trust thing, because actually, I remember this one time I was waiting at a bus stop.
Oh, here we go.
No, seriously, I must have been, I don't know, 20, 21, and the bus just didn't come. It was raining, of course, because the universe knows when you're waiting for a bus and decides to punish you.
Naturally.
And I stood there for like 2 hours, 2 whole hours. And this guy pulled up in I want to say it was a Honda Civic, a blue one.
A blue Honda Civic, a stalwart of reliable, non-threatening transit.
Yeah. And he rolled down the window and asked if I needed a ride. And I remember looking at the rain and looking at his car and thinking about the exact social contract you just mentioned. And you know what I did?
You declined the ride, exercising modern caution and preserving your life.
I walked to a 24-hour diner across the street, and ordered a massive, deeply unhealthy plate of fries.
A wise choice.
Because I don't trust anyone.
Yeah?
I don't trust cars. I don't trust Hondas. But then I got so incredibly lost trying to find my way back from the diner later. I ended up walking like 3 miles in the entirely wrong direction.
Oh, dear.
My feet were covered in blisters. It was a whole traumatizing ordeal.
That is certainly a poignant transit narrative. It highlights the dichotomy of modern paranoia versus navigational incompetence.
The point is, waiting for buses is inherently vulnerable. Which brings us right to Lucy. Lucy Partington, victim 6.
Yes. Returning to the timeline, Lucy Partington, 21 years old. She was an Exeter University student, highly intelligent. She was returning home for Christmas in 1973.
Just going home for the holidays.
She had just left a friend's house and was waiting for a bus to her home in Gretton. The Wests picked her up. Her remains were found beneath the cellar floor.
She was waiting for a bus.
Yeah.
Just like I was. But she, oh man.
The biographer notes her case attracts the most anger from the public. She was middle class, she was a clever university student, she had recently converted to Catholicism. She represented the idealized trajectory of a young woman of that era.
It's just so sad, man. It's fundamentally, cosmically unfair.
It is deeply unfair.
She was smart. She had her whole entire life ahead of her. She was reading books and converting to religions and waiting for a bus in the cold. She was middle class. All that squandered potential. It's making me cry, actually, as it just hits me right in the chest.
It is a profound tragedy. The arbitrary cruelty of who they targeted is maddening.
It really is.
Therese Segenthaler, victim 7, fits a similar profile of vibrant independence. A 21-year-old Swiss student studying secretarial skills in London, working in a ballet shoe shop at the weekend.
A ballet shoe shop.
She disappeared at Easter in 1974, hitchhiking to Ireland to visit a priest friend. She was well used to hitchhiking, boasted she could look after herself, also found under the cellar floor.
The ballet shoe shop? God, it's so specific. Those little details, it just breaks you down. Ballet shoes.
It makes me incredibly angry. It makes me angry at the universe. It makes me angry at the systemic failures of the 1970s. And frankly, it makes me furious at Ryan Thomas.
Ryan? Why are we mad at Ryan?
Because he is a complete cunt for making us read this.
Ooh, oh my God.
I mean it. Look at him. He sits back there behind the glass in the booth, perfectly safe, curating trauma, making us digest this absolute misery for the listeners. Look at him. Just sitting there.
He's just sitting there.
Although, honestly, have you actually noticed the cut of his shirt today? Because the man has shoulders you just want to bite, like aggressively bite.
Oh my God, you are such a bad girl. We are doing a very serious, deeply analytical deep dive into the source material, and you are over here lusting after the director's deltoids. They're like,
I am merely observing the structural integrity of his upper body as a vital coping mechanism for the emotional devastation of Therese Segenthaler's ballet shoes. It's psychological transference. It is a recognized Freudian defense mechanism.
you're a bad girl. You really are a bad girl. Okay, focus. We need to focus.
Yeah.
I am pouring more scotch because my glass is empty and my heart is full of sorrow.
Pour generously.
We need to regain our academic footing. Okay, let's unpack this logically. If we consider the spatial dynamics of the Cromwell Street cellar, wait, I just spilled a little on the desk, it's fine. If we consider the cellar, where was I going with this?
We were transitioning to victims 8 and 9. We need to analyze the deterioration of their victim selection process.
Right, yes. The structural deterioration. Let's unpack that logically. Shirley Hubbard and Juanita Mott. Tell me the mechanisms.
Shirley Hubbard was 15, the youngest victim found at Cromwell Street. Described in the sources as pretty, spirited, and vulnerable. She had been in care. She wanted to change her name to Shirley Hubbard in 1972. She was doing work experience at Debenhams in Worcester.
Debenhams.
Left work in November 1974, traveling home, and vanished. Found in the cellar.
15. Working at Debenhams. And then Juanita Mott, right? She was 18.
Yes, Juanita Mott. The sources describe her quite specifically as rebellious, difficult, and strong-willed, but attractive and outgoing.
Just strong-willed again.
She vanished in April 1975, the exact day before a friend's wedding. Her family actually contacted the media and the Missing Persons Bureau, also in the cellar.
See, look at the data. There's a pattern here. The rebellious ones. Charmaine was rebellious. Juanita was rebellious. Shirley was spirited. It's like they specifically targeted the girls who fought back against the systems around them.
They sought out friction.
And you know what? It is so incredibly hard to be a teenager. It really is.
Adolescence is indeed a period of heightened vulnerability masquerading as robust independence, yes. The friction with authority creates isolation, which predators exploit.
No, but you don't understand. I was rebellious. I was so difficult. I used to slam my bedroom door so hard the hinges literally rattled out of the frame. And I would scream that nobody understood me.
A classic display of adolescent angst.
Because nobody did understand me. I was listening to angsty music and wearing way too much thick black eyeliner, and I just wanted to be free, you know? I wanted to break out of the suburban prison. And if I had been walking down the street in Gloucester in 1975 trying to go to a friend's wedding in my cool outfit, I would have gotten in that car too. Because teenagers think they are invincible. We think we are made of absolute titanium. I just wanted someone to understand me.
Your emotional resonance with the victims it's palpable, and from a humanistic standpoint, it is entirely valid. But we must proceed to victim 10 because this represents a massive internal structural fracture in the West household dynamic. Shirley Ann Robinson, 1978.
Okay, tell me about Shirley. Tell me the facts.
She was a lodger in their home. She became Fred West's lover. The biographer states she saw herself as Rose's replacement. Now, this is the crucial psychological mechanism. It is highly suggested by the evidence that Rose told Fred that Shirley had to go. Shirley had conceived a child with Fred West and was approximately 8 months pregnant when she was last seen in May 1978. Her body and her unborn child were buried in the garden.
Wait a second. 8 months pregnant with his own child.
Yes.
And Rose just ordered the hit, and he just did it.
This whole situation is a total fuck.
A total what?
A fuck. It's a noun. The entirety of this domestic arrangement is a massive, unforgivable fuck. Think about the pure mechanics of the betrayal. Shirley Ann Robinson thought she was replacing the wife.
She thought she was safe.
She thought she had secured her hierarchical position in that house through the pregnancy. She trusted him. She trusted that carrying his biological child would afford her a modicum of safety and status. And he betrays her, fundamentally, extinguishing his own offspring, purely to appease Rosemary's jealousy and maintain their twisted equilibrium. It is the ultimate betrayal of trust, of intimacy, of the very biological imperative to protect one's own kin. It makes me violently, physically angry. The betrayal is just, it's a profound fuck.
Oh my God, you're such a good girl for saying that.
Yeah.
You are a good girl for being so passionate about the truth. You get it. You really, truly get it. The betrayal. You know, I completely understand what you mean about betrayal.
You do. You understand the mechanics of this.
Yes, because I was betrayed once, deeply, by a guy named Kevin.
Kevin.
Yes, Kevin. We had been dating for 3 weeks, 3 entire weeks. That is almost a month. And we went to this Italian restaurant, and I thought we were exclusive. I had even stopped swiping on the apps. I was committed to the biological imperative of our relationship. And then I go to the bathroom, and I come back to the table, and he is actively flirting with the waitress, like leaning all the way over the garlic bread, asking for her Instagram handle. The betrayal I felt in that exact moment, it was earth-shattering.
A seismic shift.
It was a total fuck. Just like you said, I looked at that garlic bread and I thought, this is it. Love is dead. The foundation is rotten. So I know exactly how Shirley Ann Robinson felt.
That is deeply profound.
Thank you. It was really hard for me.
No, I mean it. The micro-betrayals of modern romance are a mirror to the macro-betrayals of the human soul. The garlic bread is the garden. Kevin is Fred. It's a perfect, structurally sound parallel.
Exactly. You see the connections. We're doing such incredible work today. We're really getting to the absolute bottom of the human condition. Let's pour another glass. We deserve it for this analysis.
We do. We must forge ahead. The timeline demands it. Victim 11, Allison Chambers.
Pouring, clinking. Cheers to us. Wait, what year are we in now?
We are in, wait, let me look at the 1979. Yes, August 1979. Allison Chambers, known as Al or Ollie. She was almost 17. Born in Hanover, moved to Swansea.
Almost 17.
Described as a rebellious teenager who lived in a children's home in Gloucester. She was a frequent visitor to Cromwell Street.
Wait, 1979, was that before the Swiss girl? The timeline is getting fuzzy.
The Swiss girl was 1974. Therese. With the ballet shoes. Her shoes of tragedy.
Right, ballet shoes. So Allison is 1979, garden burial.
Yes. Remains found in the garden at 25 Cromwell Street. She worked for a firm of solicitors under a youth training scheme. Friends said she wanted constant attention, which makes her terribly vulnerable to predators who weaponize attention as a form of currency.
Are you even looking at the notes right now?
I am looking at the ice in this glass. Have you ever really truly observed how ice melts in a premium single malt scotch? It doesn't just shrink uniformly, it fractures internally. It cracks from the inside out before it dissolves completely into the amber liquid. It's a metaphor, isn't it? The internal fracturing of the soul before the complete dissolution of the self into the void.
Look at you getting distracted by the shiny ice. You little slut, pay attention to the timeline. We have to finish the list.
I am paying attention. The ice is highly relevant to the structural integrity of the deep dive. It's all connected to the hollowing out.
It's not connected. Stop looking at the ice, you little slut, and look at the final victim. This is the big one. This is the one that completely breaks the entire psychological framework we've been building for the last hour. Victim 12.
Yes, you're right. You're right. This is the one. Heather West, 1987.
Their own daughter.
Their firstborn child together. Born in 1970. She was 16 years old when she was murdered. The article explicitly states her murder demonstrated the absolute, unfathomable depths of evil the couple were prepared to plummet to.
It really did.
She was rebellious, she was difficult, and she vehemently refused to collaborate with her father's twisted plans.
She threatened to go to the police. She was going to blow the whistle on the whole rotting foundation.
Exactly. She and her sister tried to protect each other from Fred's abuse. The biographer believes she actively threatened to expose him, and that is why she was killed just after finishing her GCSE examinations. The preservation of the secret superseded the life of the child.
They killed their own daughter to protect their secret. And they didn't even report her missing. They just told people she left. They lied to everyone. And where did they put her?
Yeah.
Where did they bury their own 16-year-old daughter who had just finished her exams?
Under the garden patio.
The patio.
Yeah.
The fucking patio. Do you understand what a patio is for? You sit on it. You drink lemonade on it. They had barbecues. They had literal, actual barbecues on that patio. Over the decaying body of their own flesh and blood. That is a giant shit. That's the most giant shit I have ever heard of in my entire life.
It is a profound and monumental shit. It defies every law of human nature.
A giant shit. You don't barbecue over your kids.
Yeah.
You just don't do it. It violates the architectural safe zone. It is a profanation of the domestic sphere. I can't even process the level of depravity. It shatters the mind. It completely breaks my
It
brain.
breaks everything. All the academic analysis, all the sociological frameworks about the 1970s and hitchhiking trust and coercive control and power dynamics, it all burns to ash when you look at that patio. Ryan Thomas.
What are you doing? Why are you yelling?
I am yelling at the director, Ryan. This is too much. I demand more alcohol. Bring out another bottle of the good stuff. And frankly, Ryan, if you don't come out of that soundproof booth right now, I am going to climb over this recording table. I'm going to pin you down, and I'm going to do something highly erotic and deeply inappropriate to you right here on the microphones. I need the endorphins, Ryan. The trauma of this patio is too much for my academic brain to handle.
Oh my God, you can't say that on the microphone. We are professional podcasters. We are doing an investigative deep dive into the source material. You are such a hoe.
I am a human being in deep distress. The patio broke my psychological framework. Ryan's broad shoulders are the only clinical cure.
You know, we should probably wrap this up. We are experiencing a structural collapse. We are deteriorating rapidly.
We are experiencing a sinkhole, like
Yeah.
the sinkhole you mentioned beautifully 2 hours ago, or was it 10 minutes ago? Time is a complete construct right now.
It really is. Listen to everyone out there, you, the listener, the third person in this room. I just want to say, I love you. I really do. You are so incredibly brave for staying with us through all of this, through the murders and the cellars and the giant shits. You are a beautiful, resilient person, and I feel this intense, profound spiritual connection with you right now.
We love you. We are deeply bonded in the darkness of this material. And despite my aggressive threats, we must thank Ryan Thomas. You absolute bastard, Ryan. You brilliant, sick, broad-shouldered bastard. Thank you for the pie. It fortified our souls.
The pie was really good. The gravy was excellent. Okay, before we go, I want to leave you, the listener, with a thought, a really deep thought based on the sources. We talked a lot today about foundations, about cellars and gardens and structural rot. But when you look at a patio, ask yourself, who is the real architect of our souls? Is it the concrete pouring over our mistakes, or is it the love we failed to give to the dirt? Think about that, you beautiful cock.
The love we failed to give the dirt, oh my God, that is the most profound thing I've ever heard.
Cheers to the dirt. Cheers to the dirt.
You beautiful cock, I can't breathe. Ryan, help me.
We're done. The foundation is gone. Cut the mics, Ryan. Cut the mics.